Hello, Janet. Hello, whoever is watching.
Hello, Gabrielle.
I'm very happy to be here with you, and I call on this space for exploring topics that is alive in the area of holding space for especially one-on-one sessions. And it was a
Hmm.
personal necessity of having more material or information or exploration about that topic. And I had a lot of fun doing that with you 2 years ago when I was living with you in the Haven. So I feel glad to do that in a different format now. And that you said yes.
Hmm. I am a yes.
And
What's
for
our
to
topic to explore and research today, Gabrielle?
yes, for today I want to explore with you about dynamics. What do you when I say dynamics is the patterns of interactions that repeats over time when we are in relationship with someone. And I see that mostly when learning about the family or the historical background of a person that I'm working with and discovering the dynamics that this person grow up into his or her
Hmm.
environment. When you think or you hear the word dynamics, what is the first things that comes up to you?
I'm going to answer a different question. If you know about dynamics, what difference does it make to how you hold space, Gabrielle?
Well, I answered the question, what is like to be you when I'm making contact with this historical background of a person. So I'm first when I don't know a person, I'm very curious to learn what it is like to be you and where you come from. So that's what learning about dynamics or what are where the dynamics a person was involved into provides me when I'm working with them.
I love it. So I hear you asking who who are you in context of your family, your ancestors?
Hmm.
What's the context you were raised in? That's where I go talking about dynamics,
Hmm.
the unconscious patterns of interaction, and hopefully the conscious ones.
Hmm. So you look at dynamics as the unconscious patterns and the conscious patterns of interaction. So it's like the patterns that repeats in a relationship.
Yes.
Hmm.
Do you have anything different to add to that beginning definition?
I would add besides patterns also like textures or flavors of. So the patterns is the repetitions, and maybe there's also aspects of like the shadows and the power, like the difference of power in the relationships that happens, maybe.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, all of that context, textures, flavors,
Hmm.
and their relationship to power definitely, for me, is part of dynamics
Hmm.
because I use Mickey Cashtan's definition of power still many years, like 20 years since I heard her say it. Power is the capacity to make choices. And that so fits for me. And there may be passive choices that some people make, or really proactive, conscious choices. So, looking at people's relationship to power when researching dynamics, how do you give your power away? Who used to have power over, either as a rescuer or persecutor? All of that comes under patterns of interaction, dynamics for me.
Hmm. And when working with people, what do you notice about dynamics or what matters for you to look at that context that you're speaking?
Looking at the impact their interactions are having on me, I become the barometer of, oh, what's going on in me? Being the recipient of the offer of communication, the person I'm holding space for is gifting, offering. So noticing if I lose interest, for instance. And when that happens for me in my dynamic, I think I have a sense this person's not used to having someone really engage or be so interested they even want to answer. So I'm
Mm.
looking at the impact dynamics have on our space here and now. And then that's a doorway then to look at, wow, I get the sense that you're talking to me in such a way that you don't expect I will come back with an interested response. And they'll usually go, oh. And what do you know about that dynamic in your family? And it usually opens a door, Gabrielle.
So you really take in consideration your experience of receiving the communication of a person. And this is the guidance for you of whatever happens in you, that's the doorway that you may take for researching or exploring with the person.
Yes, definitely one of them. Yeah.
Mhm.
If there's no gaps, like the person's talking at me, again, turning it round and saying, did you ever experience people talking at you, that it wasn't a mutual interaction? And then again, it's a possible door opener.
Mhm. And in your time
And
work,
please,
yes?
you go.
Yes, the question that comes like in the time of working with people, there are certain dynamics that, um, for example, the dynamic of the low drama triangle. It's more of a universal dynamic that I noticed that happens in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of that dynamics, I noticed that there are subtle differences. So, for example, there is a dynamic of codependence that is what I'm researching more right now because there are two people that I'm working with that are exploring that, where it's really almost one of them. It has this firefighter. He gave the name of this part of him as a firefighter, and um, he grew up with the two parents fighting with each other, and for him was like dying to be watching the two parents in his home falling apart. So he really took the role of rescuing and solving the conflict. And he's 70 years old, so he became a conflict resolution facilitator, and he worked with that for 40 years. And now, like, his identity is so glued with this firefighter dynamic, and it has been such a discovery with him how to differentiate the frequency of the survival of the firefighter rescuing dynamic that he experienced in his childhood, and his being that cares for collaboration and for creation between humans, because he worked 40 years with that, and they are very glued. So I noticed that these dynamics, they go along through life, and they repeat itself consciously and unconsciously.
Mm-hmm. And that earlier training is also now serving other people. But tell me more about the codependency component you want us to research together.
Mm-hmm. So he always bring in the sessions the relationship with his partner, who he has a lot of fights with, and he's considering split up with her, but he don't want to because she knows how the things in Portugal works. She knows, like, she dictates how the house works, and he don't know how to organize himself. And he lives in US, so he goes between US and Portugal. So he described that he cannot live without her in the middle world aspects, like he cannot handle the middle world aspects of his life. So that's the aspect of the codependence that we are exploring, that it's like almost as his partner represents this fight, and that he's always trying to avoid she getting angry, and she's always getting angry at him, and representing this conflict between his parents.
Mm.
And this is the thing that it's like I've not found the doorway. We've done some explorations and I've not found the doorway yet to that cracked something. He's very intellectual and mm, yes, so that's where we are right now, where I am working with him about this specific dynamic.
Who knew the impact of the parents fighting on him?
No one. He was alone
To
on
ask the
that.
question, well, to ask that question, who knew the impact of that fighting on you? Of that, yeah.
Yeah, we
I
did
would,
that in
that's
one
where I,
session. And this was when I
Mhm,
opened a door for him to relate with this young part of him. So I asked,
mhm,
like, who was with you when they were fighting? Because he said, I'm
mm,
scared. So he could acknowledge he was scared there in the room when they were fighting. So I asked, who is with you there while you're scared? Who can you share that you are scared? So he said, no one. And this was when the doorway for him opened, that he could feel the sadness of it for the first time. In the session, we were working for 2 months, and he could express the sadness of being alone in the fear. And I asked, what is happening for you being alone? And he said, I need to go there to handle that, because here it's like I'm gonna
just to
die.
do something about it. Yeah.
Yes. So I asked, what do you do?
Hmm.
And he says, I go there and I call my mom to help me to tie my shoes. So like he's calling on her to do something else to distract her.
Creative.
Yeah.
So you've covered the doorway of what he does and that he was scared. The missing piece I haven't heard yet is, and then what was the unmet need, which to my ears is protection. So you've
Hmm.
identified he's scared. Hey, who protected you from that?
Hmm.
And now call on his adult firefighter. And how would, what protection was needed? That is likely to be a doorway. And what would the adult him, how would the adult him change that scene? What would he do differently now?
Hmm.
Because he was using distraction as a passive way to solve the problem, to solve the conflict, but it's not
Yeah,
active.
definitely. And it's exactly what he uses nowadays, in the
Distraction.
sense, yes, in relationship with his partner as well. Like he puts his attention in the window, or he does something else.
Mm.
Yeah.
So does he also want to create not only collaboration but harmony?
Yes, that's the main
He,
principle
does
for
he
him.
know? Does he know that word?
Yeah, he uses
Sometimes
a lot.
people, harmony.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And peace.
yeah.
For me, he said, who would you say that you are in one word? And he said, I am a peacemaker. So yeah, the word peace, harmony, balance, equality, he uses a lot those words.
And as a peacemaker, is he a conflict avoider or a conflict transformer?
A conflict I avoided in my experience. He's
To
avoiding
put
all the
so
time.
again, sow the seeds. Are you so as a
Uh-huh.
peacemaker, are you a conflict avoider or a conflict what did I say? Transformer? Because then
Mm,
you're hunting for the skills. So he needs some creative way to resolve conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Were you saying before, Gabriela, he goes to persecutor?
Who goes to persecutor?
The man, were you saying he gets angry
No,
with his
his
partner?
partner. She gets
The partner
angry with
gets
him
angry,
often.
he
There's a
gets.
lot of criticizing, and he internalized the
Mm,
anger.
right. And does he know how to transform that hard to hear feedback, the criticism, into, does he know how to transform it from criticism into hearing what really matters to her?
No,
Mm,
I don't know. This would be a question also. I'm getting just inspired that several questions that I did not ask him yet that
mm,
are available asking. But in my
yeah.
experience from what he shares with me, no, he mostly goes into shutdown and defensiveness in the sense that he wants to avoid, so he listens. And before he would be listening and trying to make her understand him, that he like defending himself. And now he discovered about the centering and the bubble, and he's using that. And he said that it
Super.
works in the sense that he can listen to her, but then at one point he needs to leave and he says, I need to leave now to take care of myself. So he's practicing to leave and he goes for a walk.
Consciously. Okay.
Yes. Before reacting, because before he would start like reacting with trying to change her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not
If
angry.
he wants to be the conflict transformer, then being able to hear her criticism with a completion loop, and what is it she wants to create now that's different? It's such a shortcut. So you're angry because I didn't put the toothpaste away. What do you want now about that? It will empower him to be able to transform the conflict.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sense this is a key of recalling into the resource of what he's actually seeking for.
Yeah. So the skill development part,
Mm-hmm.
to have the skills to translate hard to hear feedback, criticism, or blame, and help him to be able to be a decoder of that.
Mm-hmm.
James and I made the A1, A2 decoding worksheets. Do you have a copy of them?
No. Would you
I'll
share with
send them.
me?
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It takes step by step. So it takes the seeming criticism. I'll send it with you. I'll send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a simple, not simple tool.
Mm. And do you
Oh,
have a hint? Yes, say it.
no, I'm enjoying this. I love that you come with questions and that it sparks. I'm much more alive because of this conversation, Gabrielle. Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel happy to have your like this. I call like consultation, but it's not consultation. It's like just um, what would I call exchange coins and talking about working with people and for
Mhm.
growth and evolution. I love that.
Yeah, the old word I used to use is supervision, like to come from the bird's eye and let's have a look and what other possibilities are there. So
Right.
possibility consultation, really.
Yeah. A coaching consultation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And do you have hints about the when this client, and it happens often, when a person is really hypnotized with one topic. So, for example, with him, it's really his partner. So we've been working now for 6 months, and there's the recurring topic about his marriage that he wants to end, but he don't want to end because of the consequences of the house and the divorce. And so we've been working different layers about the middle world, about empowering him to learn new skills to handle the middle world and learning the like dynamics and his survival mechanisms. So it has been like multi-layer learnings and healing in parallel. And there is one specific thing that I want more resources when he's really making the session about her. And there was one session that I did something that worked, which was what was it? That I became him for a moment and I asked him to be my therapist for 10 minutes. So I created a container of 10 minutes inside the session. And I brought about my partner and I role play like that topic. And it was so interesting. Like I was all the time said, my partner is doing this, and I think that my partner is thinking. So he says that a lot. I think that my partner is thinking that I doing this. I'm angry because so he's analyzing her, and I did that. And he said, "Wow, it looks like you are very worried about your partner, what your partner thinks about you." He said that to me. So we did that for 10 minutes, and afterwards I finished, and I asked, "How was that?" And then he said, I kind of see myself in that. So this opened the doorway for us to go deeper. And this was like 2 months ago, it worked, it nailed. And would like more possibilities of also nonlinear ways to use this as a doorways for him to actually go beyond that because there my experience there's something behind when he's talking about her and trying to analyze why she's doing this and that epsilon and y. There's some kind of pattern there that I don't get it.
Oh, what's his experience if he's not focusing on the other person? Like, how does it go inside him, Gabrielle? If he doesn't focus on her, I would like to know that.
Hmm.
And I would role play him. He goes to be her, and she does that to him. Focus on him so that, so that he becomes her. She
Mm-hmm.
does what he usually does, and see how that lands in him. So my hope would be he gets a sense of, wow, there's nothing of him there if he's not focusing on what she's doing.
Let me check if I get him role playing her in our session and me being him.
Or do you do single sessions or
Yeah,
together?
single sessions. She don't want to have sessions.
Okay. Oh, well then, yes, you be her. No, no, he is her, and you model putting the focus all about him.
Mm-hmm. Which is her. Like I
Yeah.
play his survival. What he I role
Yes.
play him.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay.
And then what happens in the silence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like most of his attention is on what she's doing or not doing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. There was one session that he said, I asked, what is the main question that you ask inside when you meet with her? And he said, how can I do for her to not be angry?
Mm.
So he is searching all the time to what behaviors to do or not do to not create a conflict. And this was very recent, and it just made a light in me if it happened that he internalized the conclusion that his parents was fighting because of him.
Ah, okay. That's a beautiful doorway to research. What did he
So,
decide when his parents were fighting?
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
And do you have a hint? Because he don't have many distinctions about feelings and emotions or navigating the feelings. So my usual possibility manager approach would be to open a emotional healing process. And here's where I'm lacking tools when I'm working with people that is not in possibility management, and that I find these doorways, for example, this like, wow, maybe he made a decision, he internalized a conclusion about that. And I'm lacking tools to navigate with him in this place, not taking him into an emotional healing process necessarily. The way I learned, is it day or night? Like asking these kind of questions that we ask usually in a traditional emotional healing process.
I think the emotional healing process will be establishing the missing action that would have helped him be able to feel fear, it move through his nervous system, and then find regulation again. Because you're describing someone whose nervous system's hyper aroused, Gabrielle.
Mm. So you're
Yeah.
saying it would be to be with him in the experience of their parents fighting and holding space for him to feel his fear and finding his way for taking the action he could not take as a child and
Well,
finding
not
his
him.
system.
No, that young, it needed another person intervening. And when there isn't the external intervention to help someone regulate their nervous system, then the child goes to distraction. The child takes on that role of finding a way to regulate things, but it's not a regulation that integrates the experience. It's a distraction. You talked about him
Mm,
going, Mum, the shoelaces.
mm-hmm. Okay. And in the process, is it like the one that you I saw you doing sometimes already, that you as a space holder, you were this boundary or this person in the moment of the process? Like you held a process for me about shame that you were like, don't laugh at her. And this was the healing. So is that what you mean? That you as a space
Yes.
holder?
Yeah, yes. So with him, I would probably do that and say, so Bob, you know, imagine you're there, your mum and dad are fighting, and just give me 2 sentences about what's going on. And then I would, hey, mum and dad, can you see how scared Bob is? Stop. So
Mm,
yes, you take on the missing role that meant he did not regulate his nervous system, but is in hyperarousal. And then so
mm-hmm.
scared that she's going to get angry. How is that landing with you?
Yeah, I want to try that. I've not tried that yet.
And the way for other sessions, yes, find the feeling and the the need that wasn't met, that supported regulation and integration of the experience.
Would you say more how the need is connected with the regulation in a child?
Yeah. So for this guy, I'm calling him Bob, if he's really scared and what he needed was protection from any more stimulation from the outside, and he didn't have it, then the parasympathetic nervous system is used to freeze, not for integration.
Mhm. So when you can attend the need of protection, the unfreezing can happen.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's where the
And
healing can
really, it
happen.
would need to be quite, yeah, the healing can happen. Hey, Bob, what was that like that I said, hey, can you see how scared Bob is? So do one little bit at a time and see the impact.
Mhm.
Because the way he regulates is to tighten or freeze.
Mm.
So then no wonder he's hypervigilant, watching what his partner's doing or not doing.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you. I want to try that out. Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, when someone's the relational need when someone's scared, is protection, a child, I mean. When they're angry, they won't need to be taken seriously and make an impact. When they're sad, they need compassion. And joy, they need celebration and exuberance. They are the relational needs for children, probably adults as well, actually, of those four emotions.
Mm. Well, so what I'm getting is that when the feelings are met with a different, so if there's fear and a person is met with anger, for example, this actually might actually reinforce the survival strategy of freezing,
Yes,
is what I'm hearing you saying. So there is a kind
definitely.
of attunement that is needed for this opening up to happen,
Yeah.
a match.
And does Bob ever tell her, I feel scared hearing your anger right now? Does he ever
Mm,
tell her that? But
mhm,
I would do the other stuff first, give him that experience of someone intervening. Parents, stop. Can you see how scared he is? That alone.
mm.
Will you take your discussion or your argument somewhere else? Because Bob needs some calm right now. Come on, Bob, let's go to the park. Like that, yeah, that's how I would play with it if it was person to person, in face
Right.
to face. I mean, yeah.
Mhm. And how is this reflects in the codependence that in your experience or the codependence in the relationship he has right now?
So looking at through a ego state lens, my diagram of codependence is one person is mostly the child in a relationship and the other parent. So the parent-child interaction, it's like a marriage. Those two are married. And then there's often a swap.
Mm,
So um yeah, that's how I would draw it. And then codependence, there isn't three ego states in each of both people. It's like there's three ego states between two of them.
so is
So
you mean
in an
like
old,
yes, go.
so say traditional, the wife stays at home, the husband goes out to work. He's the provider, right? She's not empowered financially. It's like there's three ego states between two of them. And there's often a swap. Then maybe when he comes home, she's the rescuer and the carer, and he doesn't have to cook dinner or do any household chores. So there isn't three sets of ego states each.
And
They
when you say the three
exclude
sets is the adult, parent,
parent,
and
adult,
child?
child.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah. In possibility
Mm,
management, of course, then there's a gremlin protecting all that.
mhm.
Yeah. So
I'm not
you
sure if
look
I
up
got it.
symbiosis. Okay.
You mean
I'll
that
draw
when
it.
there is codependence, okay, when there is codependence, there is not the three ego states relating from each person. There is
Yeah.
one or another. What is happening with them? Are they submerged or like,
They exclude their other ego states. So hang on. I haven't got my self view on. Can you see it?
yeah, I can see it.
So say if this is his partner and she's more parental with him, probably not a lot of adult, and he's mostly in child, then that'll be that scared, not regulated part of him that's online. But then it sounds like it switches. And I don't even want to live with her. And shall I stay or go?
Yeah.
But so this is one, the shifts called it symbiosis, or the modern word is codependence.
Mhm. So your
And then
recommendation
exclude,
to work on that is really to go in these layers that we were talking before of really going first in this historical, his historical past of relationship with his
yeah,
parents.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm only using that map as a theory. The application of it and intervention of it is some of those possibilities we've discussed.
Mm. And
Will you
the
experiment with
psychology
some of, sorry, go.
in the psychological, I have a question about that, that in the psychological level, what is the value of knowing a theory? And like the difference of the theory and the intervention, I perceive you separate these two things.
Because if my hypothesis is when he's around her, he's either only in child or he flips to being parent. Am I going to contradict myself? Then I know what's going to be needed is that where's his adult that knows what was missing back then? So yes, I'm talking my own way to clarity here. So then the things we've talked about is going to strengthen his adult that he knows what was missing from his history and those experiences and can begin to learn the skills to learn to regulate himself without having to leave or distract. That he could, hang on, please pause a minute. I want to take 4 breaths so I can calm my nervous system down because I just got scared. So it
Mhm,
becomes that's what will make it effective because he can live it now.
mhm, mm.
How will you try some of those and then we have another conversation about it? Like I find this so juicy. See
Yes,
what
yeah.
and it didn't work, what results it creates.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, I will do that. Mm. Hmm.
that seems enough for now. What's your sense?
Yes. I have more questions, but it will be in another space. I already wrote it down. That is connected more with another topics that came up from what we talked. So I will not bring it now. I feel complete about this specific
Yeah,
exploration on
let's pack
dynamics
it
and
this
codependence.
and then super.
Yeah.
All right, dear woman.
Thank you very much, Janet.
Thank you for
See
nourishing
you.
my morning. See
See you
you.
next time.
Bye.